Hey everyone, Paul Gale Network here, and welcome to PGN Live. This is a little bit of a bonus stream because we will be on tonight at our regular time of 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, etc. for all time zones out there. But we've got a little bit of a bonus stream opportunity this morning. When we do our bonus streams, the intention is kind of like a random Q&A, maybe a little bit of a shorter stream. Could still be stretched out to be made a little bit longer, but we'll see. Crazy Scott, what's up? You're in here nice and early. Good to see you. How are you doing today? I hope all is well. Everyone likes a bonus? Heck yeah. Everyone likes a bonus. I agree. I mean, if you like video game conversation, then you know that these streams have been pretty game talk oriented. Sometimes, if we don't have a big video game story, though, chat starts talking it up and kind of sets the pace of what to expect, which is the unexpected, and we go off on a number of things. But yeah, every stream has been fun. I expect this one to be as well. But definitely good to see you in here early. How's your day going so far? We've got a couple of cool things to talk about. How many people will show up to a bonus stream? I don't know. But regardless, it's all good. We'll have a fun time talking. Early lunchtime for you? Yeah. I mean, maybe a fun opportunity to talk with some others and hear some video game chatter during your lunch break or something. That's pretty cool. You're eager to hear people's impressions from PAX West and then speculation on next week's Direct. Yes! Oh. That's what I'm really excited is this upcoming Nintendo Direct. And what could we get out of it? I mean, I don't mind hyping irresponsibly. Because to me, there's going to be no chance that the Nintendo Direct isn't going to be awesome. You know, I don't need every single thing that I would like to indeed go down to make it good. So I'm hyped regardless. Like, okay, it's not going to be this, but let me tell you at the bare minimum what it could be, and that I would still be excited if that were the case. But first, published. Happy Tuesday, Paul. Oh, sorry to see. Chuck Norris. Yeah, Chuck Norris. Yeah, Chuck Norris. It's getting there. I don't know how much longer I'll go. But the beard's been doing all right so far. Metro Prime 4, baby. That's right. Joycey J. Good morning, Paul and y'all. Good morning, Joycey. Good to see you here. Yeah. What could the Direct be at bare minimum for me to still be like, that's cool? Okay. It's not going to be this, but if they just showed off new footage of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and gave us the release date. Showed off what that mysterious thing was up above the city in Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, a little bit of new footage and a release date. Splatoon Raiders, a little bit of new footage and a release date. Release dates for Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, Elden Ring. A release quarter along with some new footage of Duskbloods. One random drop on NSO expansion pack like Pokemon XD Paul Gale Network of Darkness. And one port of a Wii U game like Yoshi's Woolly World. Even if that was it, that would still be new footage of several games, release date confirmation or quarter confirmation of one title, and one new thing to get to play that day, and something from the past that is coming to the system now that is quality that more people should experience. Like, that wouldn't be bad. That would still be fun. Now, that's not what's going to happen. Let's talk about what we think might happen. But first, more people are showing up. Joycey working and lurking. Hey, that's good. This is a little bit of a bonus stream, you know. I think we've got a pretty good schedule these days of 3 p.m. Pacific time, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday mornings to hit up that whole goal of talking video game sales as it comes fresh out of Japan. And then if anything, Thursday might be the one that has like its bonus later on in the afternoon or evening. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, seems to be all right. I know some folks would prefer a little bit later, some folks earlier. It's hard to find that, time that fits for all, but we've got a little bonus right now. So hopefully you enjoy this in the background as you work. Moogle Evo, hello there. Egomaniac87, good morning. Corey Boehm, a daytime meeting of the Gale Force. That's right. Mario Master, hi there. Welcome back. So we could get into anything, which it's hard not to just hop right into Nintendo Direct talk. You realize that we are 9 or 10 days away. 9 or 10 days away from the Nintendo Direct. Oh, that's exciting. That is so cool. I live for this. Boom. Good morning, Pokemon fan. Boom Mini. I was just, okay. Literally, Boom Mini, a second before your name popped up, I was just about to randomly say, because it triggered, I got triggered, the thought, a positive triggering. Just yesterday, we got a cool photo from Boom Mini at PAX West. We've got, just randomly, I was going to say it, and then you just popped in saying, hey there, I'll be here for 1 minute, then work, LOL. I was just about to announce, for some reason, it triggered right before your name popped up. Oh, there's Alarmo going off. I was just about to mention your photos because those were funny. Not funny. Those are nice. Those are fun. Joycey, you're hoping it's the big one like we went with 84? Yeah. Egomaniac87, what would you like to see happen in the next mainline Zelda game? Oh, good question. Gosh, where to begin? I mean, you got the topic of the stream, but we could wait till that because I guess we just can't help but hop into Nintendo Direct talk, or Zelda talk. So, since that is a question, who's texting me right now? Oh, okay, nothing important, I guess. I guess we could talk about the next mainline Zelda game. Okay. Talking amongst each other. Okay. I love what Nintendo has done with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and seeing how big they've made Zelda. I mean, Hyrule has never been bigger than those two games. The amount of terrain to explore, the sheer amount of in-game square miles to traverse across, climb up and down mountains, go down below in the depths, up high in the sky islands there. Just everything being so tangible. I love it. In a similar way, more questions going off. I'll talk about Zelda too long, so maybe I'll pause for a minute about Zelda and then answer some of the quicker questions, perhaps. I'll get to that in a moment because I see Joycey, I see a couple other talks. Okay, Corey Bohm, you aren't a member yet, Joycey? Okay, so that question you're asking, Joycey. Okay. This one will take a little bit longer than a minute. I love how big Zelda is. And similar, Donkey Kong Bonanza, it's a big world too, and you can see the amount of visual fidelity increase that Donkey Kong Bonanza has over The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, for instance, right? But if Nintendo made a little bit of a smaller, more compact Zelda game, open world, but the world itself being not as big, still with a physics engine, but not necessarily the intent to touch and interact and climb literally everything. Not quite a linear experience where it's one of those games where, like, clearly there's a mountain here, but there's bushes and you can't go past the bushes. So, like, your super beast powerful of a warrior can't, like, sword attack and interact with the bushes and just go through the bushes and up the mountain, because a lot of games are like that, which sort of takes you a little bit out of the element, but it looks really pretty. And Corey Boehm with the $1 membership, in which Egomaniac87 was the recipient. Thank you, Corey Boehm. That's super awesome of you. First of all, thank you. That helps the stream. That helps with the morning shorts that I deliver and everything. So I'm grateful for that. But also, for those of you that are new, what Corey just did was he got that goal status up from 0 to now $5 out of Nintendo $64. And he is the top donor of the stream at $5 as well. And if you're wondering, well, what does that do? For every Nintendo $64 that these streams get, I instantly give $10 back to the community via a $10 Nintendo eShop card. So, Corey now just contributed to that, and perhaps we'll get to Nintendo $64 today. And if we do, one person live on this stream will get a $10 eShop card. And you don't have to contribute towards the total in order to be eligible. It just helps get there, obviously. But yeah, no obligation. But thank you, Corey. I appreciate it. Super cool of you. So thank you very much. And I hope that Egomaniac87 likes the membership. One of the perks for the membership is, you know those morning shorts that I put up? Well, you all get them, if you're not a member, at midnight, right? Every midnight. But if you are a member, you get them a few hours before, which is pretty cool. So if you like those morning shorts, or if you did like previously the, what's it called? The Countdown series, and you're waiting for the Countdown series to come back, know that it will come back, and you'll be getting earlier access to those. Why does that look so janky? Come on now. Why does it look so janky? It should be higher up. Well, that was too small. We got some technical issues, folks. Okay. Let's get back to Zelda talk. We're at 5. We're at 5. We know that. But what was I saying? In Zelda, I wouldn't mind it being, not to the point of no tangible nature, too unrealistic for Zelda. You can't even go past a bush to climb up the mountain, but not necessarily super big, because what I would like is a very visually distinct, hyper-realistic, gorgeous-looking The Legend of Zelda game. Kind of like that E3 2011 tech demo that I keep talking about, stream after stream, podcast after podcast. Good size, good scope behind it, but just the most lush visuals ever, like that demo, cranked up a bit because we are in the modern era of 2025. So just as a visual style, because I think it's a little bit unrealistic to have a game be as big as Tears of the Kingdom and look like God of War Ragnarok, right? But a game could look comparable to like God of War Ragnarok, somewhere in that, but be a little bit of a smaller Zelda game. But I want that experience. I want to see that once. I loved The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, but the game after Ocarina of Time that I wanted was to look like Twilight Princess. And I'm happy that we eventually got Twilight Princess. Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time. Tears of the Kingdom is an incredible follow-up that I also gave a 10 out of 10 to. But I would like the next Zelda game to look very different. And if that means being a little bit smaller, I'm okay with it. Okay. Joycey J with one of the questions that I was going to ask. If it's not too personal, I see the bandage on your head. Is the other guy okay? Yeah, the other guy's okay. A woman, actually. Hope you're good. Yeah, so, not to be somber or anything like that. I mean, hopefully it doesn't affect me when I'm talking right now on the stream, but not the most fun thing to talk about, but it is something. Some people may know, some people may not know, but last May I had a little procedure done, and I'll never forget it. That one morning in May, got a call after some biopsy was performed a few weeks later, and the voice of the person who called, Mr. Gale, the voice was very different, a little bit lower and slower. You have late stage cancer, and basal cell carcinoma, and we're booking you for surgery as soon as possible. We'll deal with insurance later, etc. I'm like, oh, wow, that hit really hard. Basal cell carcinoma is a type of skin cancer. So I had a tiny little mole right here. Couldn't really see it. Peach colored, clear colored, skin colored, whatever. Not even that raised, just tiny little thing. Doctor didn't like the way it looked. Recommended me go to dermatologist. Dermatologist agreed. Like, yeah, let's just take it off. Little shaving. Sample comes back a few weeks later. It's late stage cancer. Hopefully it didn't spread too much. In some cases, it spreads far and you have massive scars like this because they have to pull the face apart, scoop it all out, and I didn't know. So despite it being potent and late stage in terms of its toxicity and stuff, it had not yet spread completely. It just started to spread a little bit more in terms of width and depth. But what I have isn't really even noticeable. I took very good care of it with the post-cancer cream and bandages and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, fast forward, once in a while the doctor says, let's check some stuff out on you. And then that brings us up to, like a month ago, doctor said, let's check out this one. Let's book you for an appointment. It's a little bit different and so forth. So just a few days ago, they did a little shaving, and then now I'm going to wait a couple of weeks for the biopsy on that. So hopefully it's nothing. I've had other ones removed in between this one and now, and they've been nothing as well. Like I had one right here removed last year because that one was a potential candidate for like, could it be cancer or not? And it proved to be nothing. So hopefully this one is another one that's like, it's nothing. But I don't know. And anyways, it's just safer to have removed. And then that's why I have a little bit of a Band-Aid there. So that's it. I don't need an announcement of next mainline Zelda. They should show it next September. Go Hadouken that subscribe button. Traditional dungeons and the return of underwater and another Hyrule full of life. Some more dungeons. Some more thematic dungeons based off of elements. Underwater navigation. I agree. I could go for some more underwater fun. Gosh, Nintendo's always had a thing for water in their video games. I could see water. Oh, feel free to gift me one, says Joycey. Okay, that was about that. Kong Donk, I nominate Joycey J to run for moderator. You need to keep trying. Let's see, I'm trying to read all of them. Oh, regarding the gifting Joycey a membership. Each gen, says published, Nintendo announces a game that's in development that ends up taking 4 to 7 years before it comes out and even drifts to the launch of the next console. Which game will that be this time? Oh, dang. Which game could it be this time? Let's see. Well, unintentionally, it was Metroid last time because I expect that Metroid Prime 4 began development under the guise of supposedly Bandai Namco in like March of 2017, right as Nintendo Switch was coming out. Maybe a little bit earlier, right? A year and a half of development. Probably they anticipated this game would release in the fall of 2021. 4.5 years of development, something like that. But a year and a half in, that all changed. So what could be the late end Nintendo Switch 2 game that ends up being like a dual release or something for Nintendo Switch 3? It's a good question. Because I don't think they're going to go this whole generation without certain titles like a designated Animal Crossing for the system. I hope it's not, but if Super Smash Bros. Is so ambitious because it's a total restructuring, reboot of the franchise and is very, very different, that could be late enough of a Nintendo Switch 2 game that also comes out on Nintendo Switch 3 around launch. But I don't think Nintendo's going to wait like 6 years, 7 years before Super Smash Bros. 6. So I don't know if I have an answer just yet of what do I think will be announced early for Nintendo Switch 2, but come out so late that it's like a launch title for NS3. I'm not sure. Even like Metroid Prime 5, I wouldn't be surprised if simultaneously as Retro Studios has been hammering away on Metroid Prime 2, they're reusing some of that time, some assets, some building mechanics to put into MP5. So I think Metroid Prime 5 will come out on Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, but you know what? There you go. If that game's got like a 5-year development cycle and let's say is planned for, like November 2030. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Nintendo Switch 3 is going to come out that early. It's good questions, though. Okay, let's get back to the chat. Nintendo effectively shut down internal gameplay publishing for Switch 2 years ago, so who knows what will be late this cycle. You mean for Switch? Oh, for Switch. 2 years ago, not Switch 2 years ago. Got it. It's amazing what they could do to treat Capcom and be proud and speak out about living. Yeah, I mean, anything that you get earlier on diagnosed is better off, but in some cases, some cancers, not to say that are less bad than others, but in some way less bad than others, I guess, in terms of treatment, it could be technically late and still treated with not too much invasion going on in the body, Mario Master. The next Zelda game needs traditional dungeons, open world, new lands full of life. I would like even more voice acting in the next Zelda game. I would like some strong story elements where the story is told in full FMV, highest of visual fidelity scenes. You know, think back in the day, you had Final Fantasy X, how you played it, and then Final Fantasy X, how the movie sequence looked like. And you're like, oh, that's so much better than what the gameplay could have. As good as games are now, you use something other than the game's engine to show off the stories. Yeah, it's going to take more time. It's going to take a bigger budget. But I would love to watch mini Zelda movies with awesome story moments and voice acting and the whole shebang, and just be treated to like, gosh, this is such a reward scattered throughout the game, and have Zelda go that route. You know, be really immersed into it. Thank you, Joycey. Hanging in there. Right now, it's that limbo time. You know, you've got a few weeks between removal and when they call back. So try not to dwell on that call inevitably, 2.5 weeks from now, one random morning when the dermatology clinic, calls with an update. I'll see that number. It'll make me pause for a second. Hello? And then hopefully, all good. We'll see. You want better dungeons? The Divine Beasts and Tears of the Kingdom dungeons weren't bad, but they could be better. I like the dungeons look more in Tears of the Kingdom than Breath of the Wild, as did I the bosses, and I thought like refighting bosses later were pretty cool, but I could go for more thematic dungeons. Although Tears of the Kingdom, did bring back themes. Here's one thing I could go for sure. Having bosses impact the world a little bit more than they are. I mean, if you were this big bad villain, could you not be doing something on the land or making yourself present? That was one of my little things with Tears of the Kingdom. I was like, this Ganondorf isn't just Ganon swarming around the castle. This is a dude who's up and at it. If you're this big bad villain in Tears of the Kingdom with this sword, with this ability to wreak havoc, how come you're not like traveling through Kakariko Village, Hateno Village, smashing stuff, blowing stuff up, coming onto the land and kidnapping people, destroying a tower, fighting the Gorons, trying to attack you, who's underpowered. Yeah, you want to build up the excitement for the very end to finally see him in person and fight, but I kind of want to fight ahead of time. It was pretty cool seeing Ganondorf from The Wind Waker a little bit more throughout the game and sort of get an idea of his presence. Well, in the next Zelda game, I kind of want to have the bad guy not just chilling in his tower, chilling on her throne, whatever, sitting there waiting for Link to come, all story long. No, like go out there and do some bad stuff so I could see you. Maybe not be able to fight. Maybe you write it in a way that it's unattainable to fight them. So it's not even a thing of like, oh, what if you could master the controls and beat them too early? No, like don't even get the opportunity to fight. But just see that presence, feel them in the world. Smash 3D could be a great reboot, you think? It could be. I wonder what antagonist Nintendo could pick for the next Zelda. Yeah. I don't mind Ganon, but give us a better reason to dislike him. That being said, give us a new antagonist we could truly love to hate. Yeah. I love Ganondorf. I love seeing his costume design, his change, how they do his hair, how they do his weapon, what powers they give him. His laugh, everything, each time. But it is nice to sometimes have another villain so that it's that much more special when you do get Ganondorf, because you don't get him every time, you know? J Biggs, Mr. NY for life. Hey there. What's up? Good to see you. Give Link a voice. I'm ready for it. That would be a change, but now Nintendo has proven, even Link being the silent protagonist for us, with big titles like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it still works. What made Zelda better or sell more was just how big and open and amazing they made those two games be. But voice acting could appeal to more people. And I think that idea of the gorgeous cinematics that you're being treated to could also help and appeal to more people that get a little bit more of a cinematic feel for the game. So maybe Link with a voice would be one more element to that puzzle. I need better story pacing. Egomaniac 87. I'd be down for a little bit more fine of a story. Yvonne Francois. Hello, good to see you. I think games look good enough in engine cutscenes. I mean, they do. And to be fair, you know, you have different camera work and a little bit of different lighting. So today's top of the line in-game, in-engine cutscenes could deliver some awesome things that beat out the old FMVs of the past. But, you know, look at how good Mario Kart looked when they introduced Rosalina and Luma as a playable character in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Look at that Mario Kart footage. That was nice. Now imagine that level of fidelity, but increased to have your story elements. It could really separate and be a treat. Tears of the Kingdom did Ganon right. He was everywhere. The gloom hands and turning the castle into a dungeon where he just mocks you, chef's kiss. Yeah, I mean, his presence was felt via the gloom hands and in his, you know, Phantom Ganon state later on after a while. But have Ganondorf have some epic shot of him emerging from the castle, jumping up in the air, boom, smashing this chunk of land, knocking these foes out, destroying this castle, making it visually change in the terrain and to have that impact factor be there. I want some more of that. Or I want some of that. I know you can't wait for the moment Link says, "Well, excuse me, princess." True. I've been waiting for that for decades. Johan S. Nintendo Direct next week. Could we see Prime 4, please? Release? Yes! We will see Metroid Prime 4 release date. Could you imagine if Nintendo somehow does it? Give us the Metroid Prime 4. Oh my gosh. That would be the craziest thing ever. As if somehow Nintendo, in next week's Nintendo Direct, still does not give a Metroid Prime 4 release date. Could they? I mean, yeah, they could. Could they really do it, though? Don't tempt them. Don't give any ideas. Dang, that would be something. I don't know how I'd feel. Uh-oh. Oh no, what happened? There we go. Flushery. I felt like everything outside the shrines was magical. I loved the experience. I loved the sense of exploration. How big, how different Breath of the Wild was, and even how that translated into Tears of the Kingdom. No complaints from me on Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. No serious complaints. Yeah, here I am saying like, oh, I could have gone for a little bit more Ganondorf in the outside world, a little bit more of his presence felt. Yeah, true. But overall, loved both games. But definitely a new Zelda game being in a new Hyrule, new setting, I think would be beneficial. And I think Nintendo will do it. They're not going to revisit this same Hyrule again. I don't think so. Because I think that Nintendo is also aware that they shouldn't, because they're going to take a page out of their own book in advice or going against that advice, and that was what they gave to Ubisoft. Ubisoft. You probably should have waited for Nintendo Switch 2 to release Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, because it was too similar to Kingdom Battle, and sometimes spreading out what you have to offer on a different generation, on a different platform, is going to be more beneficial, because people already have enough of that experience on this system. And that's kind of why we saw this time around, I guess, one big Mario game in Super Mario Odyssey, and then a smaller 3D Mario game in Fury Edition. In a way, I'm done. I'm ready to move on, because I'm looking forward big time to Age of Imprisonment. Let's look back at some chat. Corey Boehm, sorry, had to leave. That's okay. Are you back now, or are you gone now? Mario Master. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is better than Mario Kart World. Nintendo needs to put a story mode with bosses and new islands with tracks and real characters. I could go for a story mode. I wouldn't mind story mode. I wouldn't mind bosses. That would be cool. I do think we'll get some like new islands of like, here's a Zelda themed thing. I think Nintendo's not done with the game. I think that they will be supporting it in some capacity pretty much all generation long, Our goal status has been updated, by the way. I had to tinker with it a bit, but Corey Boehm, still with that $5 up there, and $5 out of Nintendo $64 being the goal. So we are getting there. And thank you again. We've got 18 people watching live. That's great. If you're here for the eShop gift card giveaway, no, I'm not just yanking your chain and baiting you to come to the stream. I have the full intention. Every stream, I give out a $10 eShop card once we hit that $64 super chat / gifted subs / dono marker. So it is a real thing. People actually win. I'm not saying, come on for the eShop card, and I don't give one. It doesn't happen every stream, but when we hit it, I do give it. So if this is your first time, hopefully you're enjoying the content and the community and talking amongst each other and asking me questions. And I mean, like, not everyone's going to get one. It is, one person per stream. Unless, it can hit two, but it just goes up like to now 128 and 256. Then 4 people get a card, etc. Anyhow, Joyce J. Link's a character now. The fans raised him, loved him, and breathed life into him. It's time for him to have an epic backstory. Yeah, that'd be cool. Flesh out Link a bit more. Give some, what would be cool? Give a look at how does Link get reincarnated. Give some backstory with some magic juices floating through Hyrule into the birthing process of this woman. You know what would be cool? A childbirth Link delivery scene. I mean, you could get a little bit, you know, Roman Catholic religion-esque here if you're, narrating it in such a way as Link is about to be born, a Ganondorf that's already evil, that's lurking around the planet, looks and hunts down and has minions searching for these boys that are born. Ooh, that could get scary. Like, you could get into some kind of like darker material if you have that, and a real menacing Ganondorf, or a leader or a minion, a follower of Ganon that, they eliminate children from being born, or only a certain population that they allow, or you cannot name your child Link, or something really wild and out there that would be so uncharacteristic, so unheard of for Nintendo to do story-wise. Even if they don't go that far, something like, how does Link get reborn? Every how often? 100 years? 1,000 years? 500 years? Just how many years are in between the last one and this one? What happened in between? They could go pretty wild. They could go really crazy. Free Metroid hat! Hello there. Jay, I will come with you if they don't give us Prime 4 release date in the next General Direct. Okay, it's coming. If we don't get a Metroid Prime 4 release date, says Jay Biggs, Mr. NY for life, with at least a Prime 2 and 3 Shadow Drop, I'm going to Japan and start knocking on some doors demanding answers. Okay, that's why Free Metroid hat responded to that. Oh my gosh. Like, that was the thought I was saying earlier. If Metroid Prime 4 Beyond somehow gets shown off one more time in 10 days, in 9 days, and doesn't get a release date, I don't know what's going on. Because that dude is like the middle of September, so you're going to just wait for another month to go by, October, and just one random day announce on Twitter, X, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc. Stay tuned for tomorrow's Metroid Prime 4 Direct, where we reveal more about the game, including its release date. Like, that's so weird, dude. Like, it's gotta come. The release date's gotta be next week. Byzantium. Happy PGN Live, everyone. Happy PGN Live. Thank you for being here. Paul, did you see the previous comment on Link? Yeah, Joyce, I think I did. I mean, I was talking about Link for a while and the story and stuff. Yeah. I just need a map with the P-Switch locations and I'm good. Oh, for Mario Kart World, yeah. Nin128, welcome. Hey, everybody, it's the Paul Gale Network Show. That's right. Tsukino Ame, hi. Y Squad Gaming, hey. Tsukino Ame, I can't wait for the General Direct. Heck yeah. Mario Master, crazy, we are waiting since 2017 for it to release. Where is Metroid Prime 4? You're telling me. Okay, cool. I think I caught up to everybody in the chat, which is always my goal. It almost always happens, but doesn't always happen. Oh, maybe it does always happen. I try to be very good about responding to every question, comment, reading it off, etc. Kong Donk. Switch 2 Honeymaid phase dwindling as sales begin to stall, unfortunately. I don't know about that. It's at 8.6 million worldwide, for crying out loud. 8.6 million. It's very likely to hit 10 by September 30th, which is wild. How about stalling? Every store has Switch 2 sitting on shelves. I don't know about every store. You will find stores out there with some stock, no doubt. They've got 6 right there. They've got 12 right there. So not every store selling out their base of 30 that they got in, all 30 out within an hour. No, that's not the case. But a lot of stores selling out their stock of, boom, here we got a new 25, and boom, those 25 sold out between Monday and Friday. Yep, gone. That's happening. I mean, word of mouth is still so strong on Mario Kart World that even if not everyone is loving it, folks are still happy enough with Mario Kart World that new folks, of the 70 million that own it, that 60 of those million don't have it yet, want it, are looking forward to it. I will say this, Metroid Prime... Joyce J says, I will say this, Metroid Prime 4 is keeping the people talking. The mystery surrounding it is its own promotion. In some ways, yeah, you've got Metroid Prime 4 beyond hype. The hardcore are looking forward to it, and it's starting to spread a little bit more and more of like, why are you all hyped about this? You'll see. When? We don't know. Probably in the next Direct. And just like that, speaking of Metroid, I always like it when... See, I love Metroid. I love Samus Aran. So whenever Free Metroid Hat does a $5 donation to the stream via Super Chat, and see Free Metroid... Let's read this comment. Still waiting on Conker's Bad Fur Day on NSO. Just release it, Nintendo. Also, hopefully Prime 4 will release in time for the Game Awards. Other rare titles have come out. I don't think Jet Force Gemini has yet. Have they? Has it? Or like Blast Corps? But Microsoft and Nintendo are fine with the rare titles coming over to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 on NSO. And I think that, you know, with like the likes of Perfect Dark and GoldenEye 007 already being there, in particular Perfect Dark being the M-rated game, Conker's Bad Fur Day being the M-rated game, there being its own M-rated section. Conker is only a matter of time. I think it'll come. Yes, Jet Force Gemini and Blast Corps are there. Thanks, Nin128. I wasn't positive. I wasn't positive. I forgot in the moment, but yeah. So that's even more evidence to. I think it's just a matter of time for Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I'll be looking forward to it. Conker's Bad Fur Day was actually one of the very first games I played at E3 2000. 16-year-old Paul attending my first show. My first show should have been in 1999, but it ended up my memory to come back in some capacity because, dang it, it would be cool. And it's such a shocking game in many ways that you didn't necessarily expect the Nintendo back in. Just updated, by the way, the goal status, and we are at $10 out of Nintendo $64. We've got Corey Boehm and Free Metroid Hat at $5 each. We are $10 now total towards that goal of one person getting an eShop card today, live this morning or afternoon or wherever you are. Let's see. Joyce J, depends on where you are at. My Best Buy can't keep them long enough. That's regarding Kong Donk's Nintendo Switch 2 stock situation. If you see a stack of Switches at stores, that does not mean it's not selling. Correct. That just means they got the stock in between 2 days ago and now, and that probably within 3 days, they'll be gone. I will say this. Okay, I got that. Okay, I'm good. Kong Donk. A poll. I could run a poll. What kind of poll would you like me to put? Nin128. Source. 8.6. So, I do have sources in the video game sales space, as I do elsewhere in the video game industry. But what I gathered was that through, if I'm not mistaken, August 25th, which was just a week ago, that Nintendo Switch 2 hit 8.6 million. and that Nintendo Switch cleared 500,000 so far between July 1st and August 25th, if I'm not mistaken. I put it up on X. Actually, we can look at it right here. That's what this part is right here. This little media section is to check out a video with you all live, to go to X and update you on something that came out from someone, to watch a short like this morning's short. And yes, audio is capable, but this was for The Sims 4. How did you like that short today? By the way, if you all saw it, it's a little bit different. But right now we are scrolling to see. Yeah, okay. Yeah, as of August 25th, Nintendo Switch is at 153.6 million, and Nintendo Switch 2 is at 8.6 million. Approximately 500,000 Nintendo Switch and 2.83 million Nintendo Switch 2 were sold between July 1st and August 25th. Yeah, I was pretty accurate with my recollection of that. In the first week of November, Nintendo will officially update how many units both systems sold for the quarter of July 1st through September 30th, and where they are both at in total. Now, this is me saying, opinion. As much as I would like to see Nintendo Switch sell 1.2 million this quarter and be at 154.3 million, dethroning Nintendo DS by 180,000, I think it's going to come short. I don't think it will hit that. That being said, Nintendo Switch will definitely top DS by Halloween and be close to 156 by December 31st. Again, opinions, but opinions on a lot of stats and analysis and studying the market, that I think we're going to have close to 156 million Nintendo Switches out there by the end of this year. But that it won't quite be at 154.3 by September 30th when Nintendo updates us early November. I think it'll be, maybe 154.05, maybe 153.99 or something like that. But it will beat DS by Halloween. We just won't get that notification from Nintendo until like February 4th or something, Oh. That means anyone that wants to Switch 2 could get one, and empty stock is not really a good thing. I mean, you want stock to sell out, but never not have any in store for more than like a day. Because you don't want people to have to resort to paying more than need be on eBay, for instance, or buying a used one, which there's probably not a whole lot of used ones out there right now because it's still new enough that people haven't given up on their system. I mean, there are some people that might have a Nintendo Switch 2 that don't like it enough that have traded it in. I don't doubt that. It happens with any system, no matter how good it is. But I think more people than not are happy with their console and are looking forward to keeping it for what's to come. You'd also love the Donkey Kong racing and cruising games. Yeah, those would be cool. Oh. Johan S. Can't wait for Prime 4 release in November. November 20th was my original guess to bit on Metroid Prime 4's release date. But then we saw that Kirby Air Riders is coming out November 20th. So I don't think that's the date anymore for Prime 4. But doesn't mean that November it can't be it. It could be early November. It could even be up until mid-December. I saw a comment earlier regarding Metroid Prime 4 Beyond coming out early enough so that it could be eligible for a nomination at the Game Awards. I think it would have to release no later than early December or maybe even in November. Silk Song is Thursday. Happy for everyone who waited to play. Yeah, Tsukino Ame, that's going to be pretty big. Kong Donk. Stream is dipping in and out. Oh no. Hopefully it's okay now. Let me all know. Dang it. Joycey J and Publisher reporting the same issue. RC Young. Hi, Paul. Hope your day is going well. Hi there. Hope you're doing well, too. I'm having a good start to the day. Thank you. Nin128. Every rare N64 game except Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong Racing, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Mickey Speedway USA are available. Mickey, I don't think will ever come due to Disney rights. Yeah. Because we even got Killer Instinct, right? Mm-hmm. Man, Rare was so on top of their game on Nintendo 64. They gave us some wonderful stuff. I'm wondering if it's YouTube. Mike had the same issue last night. Maybe. Hopefully it fixes itself. Dang it. That's the last thing I want to hear is that stream's got some hiccups or something. Is the microphone's okay? Internet connection's all right. How do you like the Switch 2? Do you think it's better than Switch 1? Well, I like the Switch 2 a lot. It's fantastic. No complaints on the system. I only wish that I had the opportunity to purchase more games than I have on physical cartridge, right? But that's not a system itself fault. System is great. Big screen, beautiful controllers. They feel good, they sound good, or their lack of sound is kind of neat. The games have been awesome. The last few months of playing have been terrific. I enjoy the backwards compatibility aspect. I like the visual fidelity improvements that old games get. The new exclusives like Mario Kart World, Fast Fusion, Donkey Kong Bonanza have been great. The third-party stuff like Street Fighter 6 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 have been awesome. Yeah, I love it. Do I love it more than Nintendo Switch? Well, Nintendo Switch became my favorite console of all time. And part of that was the magic that it brought, the impact factor it brought, and the sheer volume of games that released for it over those 8 years in which it never had a drought. Nintendo Switch 2, by default, is kind of set up to be better than Nintendo Switch because it already plays all of those games. But impact factor, I guess it's impossible to beat Nintendo Switch, right? But it does add something new in mouse mode. So it's going to come down to how many big blockbuster exclusive Nintendo titles come out on Nintendo Switch 2 over the next 8 years to make me like it more independently than Nintendo Switch, and how many third-party games is it going to get over the next 8 years in comparison to Nintendo Switch. I think it will eventually top it, quite possibly. Poll question. How ready are you for the next Direct? Oh, you know what? We're going to run that poll. We're going to do it. Okay. How ready are you for the next Nintendo Direct? Let's see. I will put up those questions as you requested. Let's go. Super ready. Past ready. Overdue. Don't care. All right. There you go. The poll was put up as you requested. Kong Donk. Pokemon Fan 34, will I be streaming again tonight? Yes. So this is a little bit of a bonus stream, which will be ending soon, by the way. The Nintendo 64 minute mark is how long these streams are intended to go for. Bonus streams may be less long, like, well, no designated time, just a little bit of a quick news update, that kind of thing. But streams normally have a Nintendo 64 minute length, so we're approaching the end of that, unless if any super chats, gift time of 3 p.m. Pacific time. I will give some more time past the 64 minute mark, by the way, just in case, because if somebody comes in, if somebody wants to hit that $64 goal and have somebody have an eShop card, I don't want to just end that, abruptly. Oh, speaking of, that's why I don't end things abruptly. Roger Enyart with 5 Paul Gale Network gift memberships. Holy cow. Wow, Roger, that's huge. If I'm not mistaken, That's the equivalent of $20, right? Because I think the gifted sub that you gave was the blue belt tier. Now, here's a cool thing. Okay, you all don't know 1024, Craig Grissett, Aaron Raths, Jeff Shadow. You all were the recipient of Roger Enyart's super kind gifted membership. Now, there are different tiers at the channel. Our brown belt, the $50 black belt. The black belt is the one that gives you that one-on-one live personal training session once a month in which we will just communicate to each other, and it will be a designated video for you live, and we will do it, however you see fit. I mean, if you want me to see you and to guide you on a personal training exercise session or a martial arts session that's not a pre-recorded video, unless if that's what you request, that's what that $50 membership is. That's as real as a personal training session as it gets, because I am a personal trainer, I am a sensei, I am a martial artist that you'd get anywhere in the world from me live one-on-one. That $50 tier isn't for everyone, but the $10 one even still gets exclusive martial arts and personal training videos and stuff like that. But what the green belt tier normally does is it gives you access to all of these shorts early. These countdown shorts, the countdown shorts that are about to come back once we reach a certain date for Pokemon Legends ZA, potentially Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and a couple of other games and or movies. The green belt tier gets you early access to that. However, in August, I said, you know what? Through the end of August, anyone with the blue belt tier, I'm also going to give that perk to, which is having early access to the shorts. August ended, it's September 2nd, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to continue with that. Anyone with the blue belt tier is going to get that early access. So, what Roger Enyart just did was, all of you, Small Little Man, Steak 1024, Craig Grissett, Aaron Raths, Jeff Shadow, all of you will tonight get to see tomorrow's short several hours early. Maybe that doesn't mean a whole lot, but when you get 30 of these a month, a few hours earlier, that's kind of a nice little bonus. I mean, the shorts are otherwise free, but now they're free and you get to see them early. So big thank you, Roger. I'm going to put this up here in just a moment. Let me see, because now I'm definitely behind in chat. Let's see. People saying, thanks. That will help extend. Absolutely does. Can't stay at the gym. Hey, Pokemon Fan 34. Good for you being at the gym. You have the badge, which is a cool little badge. That badge is the Leesix Great Adventure badge, which is this guy right here, or this girl right here. Leesix was a girl. This is my book that I wrote, that I published, and it's called Leesix Great Adventure, and that's like the introduction badge for the members to have next to their name. Does anybody in here right now have the 1 month badge? Nobody at the moment. There are folks that have been members for a month that do have it, but nobody in at the moment. But the 1 month badge evolves to something else. Brian C., you should do a countdown till next Friday's Direct. If I knew for sure that it was the 12th, I would. But I don't have the exact date. So that's the only reason why I haven't been doing that. But I want to. Trust me, I want to. Let's get in, though, Roger's awesome contribution here. And we'll separate it a little bit. Now, the stream has gotten closer all of a sudden to that 64 mark. And if we hit it, that's when you all get hyped. That's when you all see, okay, cool. This is what it's like for somebody to live on stream get a $10 eShop card. That's pretty cool. And you just might see it. And we're at 30 bucks. I'll read the chats too after I finish this. Yeah, we're almost halfway there. Super cool. There's a certain excitement for me when I see the chat all supportive and happy for that one person that gets the $10 eShop card. Because not everyone always is lucky and wins. And to be fair, not everyone is going to win right now. Only one, but it's still pretty neat. The odds aren't that bad. Okay, let's read more. Let's read more comments. Joycey J loves her Switch 2. Already has a built-in library. Heck yeah, it does. Egomaniac 87. Third party approached Nintendo about game key cards. Yeah, I don't mind game key cards existing. I think it's a fine alternative. But you know, that's one of the things that made Nintendo Switch special was it was the only modern console that could play games purely from the physical medium. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, even if you bought the disc, you still needed to have the disc in the system, taking up that space, putting the file on the console, eating up that storage space. So in terms of eating up your storage space, it didn't matter if you downloaded it or bought the disc. Nintendo Switch, unless if you had to download it or download some of the file size, you had the Nintendo Switch cartridge able to play a modern game off the cart. Otherwise, Wii U was the last disc-based system to give you, modern gaming at the time, even though Wii U's games were quickly kind of behind like PS4 and Xbox One in terms of capability and stuff like that, right? But yeah, Nintendo Switch, that's what kind of made it extra special. And instead, here we have Nintendo Switch 2, so many of the games being on Game Key Card, it's kind of like what Xbox One, PS4, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5 do. And that is, yeah, you could play it, but you gotta download it. You gotta have it on the system. No. Make a cheaper cartridge for, X amount less. That's 32 gigs that some devs could utilize. And for that $64 cartridge, developers, just talk to your community, publishers, see if folks are willing to go 60 for digital, 60 for game key card, 70 for physical cartridge. Have it clearly labeled differently on that Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target, Amazon shelf / digital space for the reason why this one's $10 more. You don't have to get into all of the details, but just enough so that people know full game on cart or download required. $10 difference. Boom, done. We need more Joy-Con design, says Small Little Man, to be honest, but I don't know how they'll do it as each side of the Switch 2 is color-coded. They could put some other color inside the Joy-Cons. They could switch out the whole Joy-Con shell, and even though right now it's a little bit of a subtle color approach, they could make it not so subtle and just splat paint on the whole thing, Yo, finish Cereza and the Lost Demon on Baby Bayonetta. Such a gem of a game. You might like it. I played it, but I didn't. I'm kind of like you on that one, Joycey. I've played Bayonetta 1, 2, and 3. Here I played a little bit of Cereza's Lost Demon game, but I didn't play through all of it, so it's something that's saved for the little bit of a backlog one day. But I'm glad you liked it enough. Chancho, Nintendo Switch H2. I love Nintendo Switch. And I love Nintendo Switch 2 as well. Bumini responding to Tsukino Ame. Regarding meeting Nintendo Prime and folks. Yeah, that was a good time. My message, or if you're hearing this before, or if you already had to go, but bye. Thank you for being here. I say just go for it. If the date's wrong, blame others for putting in the wrong info. Brian C. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it really is almost a 50-50 chance between September 11th and September 12th, right? Be kind of lame to be wrong, though, in the end. Nintendo Direct predictions poll. Let's check it out. Well, let's check out this one that we have right now. How ready are you for the next Nintendo Direct? 74% say super ready. Okay, that's where I am. I'm super ready. 11% say past ready. Not quite super ready, but quite ready. Yeah, past ready. 10% don't care. That's kind of interesting. Interesting if you don't care. And 5% overdue. So 5% of you are like, I'm over it. It's past due. So I guess 90% of the folks in here are looking forward to it in some capacity. And 10% just don't care about it. Okay. And Tsukino Ame. I want to see a new Animal Crossing in the next Direct. Huh. Maybe. I'd be happy to see Animal Crossing. I don't know if they will. We'll find out. Good thought, though. I'd be willing to pay $10 to $15 extra for full games on cartridge, small little man. Yeah! That's definitely... I agree. I think some developers, some publishers might not have the confidence that the games will still sell. You're wrong. They will. There are a lot of folks out there that would much prefer, as you said, spending a little bit more to have the full cartridge experience. And if developers just, or publishers more so, just communicated openly and polled their audiences, they would find this and we would see more success and more folks like us that want the cartridge show up, be happy, buy it. Boom. Done. Johan S. Finally, we see Prime 4. So true. If I worded it as a countdown, the Direct 2. You paid $70 for the cartridge, already owned Cyberpunk, so it wasn't needed like you needed it at all. Yeah. Mario Master, how could you not care? Exactly. Maybe if you're someone who just randomly stumbled upon this stream, not a gamer, not a Nintendo fan, nothing like that. You're just going around YouTube, scrolling through people's live streams, see this one random guy talking about Nintendo and an eShop card, and you're like, I don't care about Nintendo. I don't even know what an eShop card is. But this dude in the purple Street Fighter 6 shirt is having a pull. Don't care. Click out of it. Like, maybe that's you. And if that's you, it looks like only one person voted. I mean, if there were 20 votes and 5% said overdue, that means one person said, oh no, 1% said overdue. 2 people voted I don't care. Yeah, 2 voted I don't care. 2 voted past ready. 1 voted overdue. And 15 people wrote super ready. So maybe 2 random people just clicked I don't care. Or maybe somebody in here watching right now, despite being a Nintendo fan, actually just doesn't care about Nintendo Directs. That's okay. I think it is because it's complete on cartridge. I think it is. I think it is, and I think it is likely for a couple of reasons. One, it's a well done port where it's got a couple of different modes to switch between graphics and performance, which people appreciate. It's a big game. It is a good game. It's a quality title. There's a lot of bang for your buck in terms of what it gives you. It is such a big title that it's kind of attractive to see it out of curiosity's sake and to have it be both on TV, docked, and portable experience to take it on the go. And the fact that, hey, there are a certain amount of people out there that are happy to own something like that on cartridge. I'm going to support this thing on cartridge. Let's go. I wonder, like, Street Fighter 6 is probably my favorite third-party game on Nintendo Switch. I mean, I'm wearing the Street Fighter 6 shirt today, you know? But I love Street Fighter. Street Fighter is my jam. I love the franchise. It's one of my 3 top favorite franchises in all of gaming. You know, the series just turned 38 years old a few days ago. I love it. That's my favorite game. And it's sold well so far, but I wonder how much better could it have sold potentially if Capcom released a physical cartridge version too? Could it have made a little bit of a difference? Yeah. Would do all right. Yeah, we just don't know for sure. That was you, Brian C., because you support something that's on the cartridge. Yeah. I wonder if Activision will come out with positive sales data reflecting Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 or negative. Because the game's not bad. The game's really good. I bought it on Nintendo Switch 2 and I love it. It's fun. Super fun. I had to get it digitally though. I would have purchased it on cartridge easily for another $10 more. And actually, that's a game that's only $50. So here's a cartridge version for $60. $50 was how much Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 cost back in 2001 on Nintendo GameCube. $50 for that disc. $50 a few years later for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 on disc. And here you got 3 and 4, 22 years later, 24 years later, for $50 combined. So if it was $60 combined for the two on a cartridge, the way economics works, the way dollar games on disc back 24 years ago being $100 total, I would have paid. And I wonder how many more people would have paid. I'm curious about the upcoming Mortal Kombat, collection, Nintendo Switch version, physical, a little bit more money. Hey folks, for the fact that it's not a key card. Yeah, small little man, that's an interesting take. And I am such a fan of cartridge medium. I so want the industry to be properly preserved that I'm even willing to buy, in your case, a game that I might not even be super interested like it. Yeah, because we want the cartridge aspect of it, of you folks to know. We're willing to spend money on something we don't even want just because we want the medium. Imagine how many more people would spend money on something they do want if it's also that medium. I get that approach. Only hearing one word of audio like every sentence or two. Oh no. What's going on? What's up with this microphone? That's a bummer. Oh no. How do I sound right now, by the way? Is this a little bit better? I apologize for the audio disruption. Johan S., I will play Prime 4 in December. I will play Prime 4 in December too. I'm hoping that I could play Prime 4 in October or November. Come on, give me Prime 4 already. For me, it's YouTube, not your mic. Okay, then I feel less bad. For me, a gamer who doesn't have the luxury of collecting. Game key cards are going to allow me access to more games on the one console I can afford. Game key cards are going to be better for you. If they're better for you, then that is great. And I think game key cards should exist. More money to the developer, to the publisher, ownership of it. So there is that family plan. But like, no, you could actually take that game key card, lend it to a buddy, and they could experience the game and just download it themselves. Maybe you can't play it during that time, but that's okay. Maybe you're done with it, but you don't want to get rid of it, right? So I think game key cards are good that they exist. Just don't be the only. Don't be the complete replacement. Be an alternative. Kong Donk. I will purchase every game fully on physical cards/cartridge. Cool. Mark Lance. Hasn't Street Fighter 6 and Madden, as well as other games, done well? They have. So far, they have been selling well. I don't think the narrative that third parties are flopping on Switch is true. Correct. That is not true. Nintendo Switch 2 third-party games doing poorly isn't true. Is every Nintendo Switch 2 third-party game selling millions of copies? No, but that wouldn't be the case regardless, because some games are a little bit older, and there are a lot of people out there that own certain ones. What's going to be interesting to see is going forward, how do the day-and-date games like Borderlands 4 sell on Nintendo Switch 2? Now, to be fair, that one comes out a couple of weeks after its brother-sister version on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, but how do these games going forward, day and date, fare? Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior on SNES was so cool, man, and I'm 22 years old. Hey, that's cool. Street Fighter 2, that's one of the GOATs. That's one of my favorite games of all time. That's one of the games that's the most influential to me in life, in helping propel my martial arts career, and always being a motivator was just that. I will do a little bit of a reminder. We are almost there to our $10 eShop gift card giveaway. 32 people watching now. Stream's been going for 88 minutes. We are about to finish up, though. We did get that time extension. I'm kind of hoping that we simultaneously get that extension and reach that $64 so that somebody does get that $10 eShop card. If we don't hit the $64, then nobody gets the $10 eShop card. But regardless, I'm still appreciative of it. I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy that y'all were kind enough to donate to the stream. I'm happy that, Roger Enyart helped boost up the community by adding another 5 people in. And hopefully the 5 of you that are in, continue your subscription into the following months, but that's up to you. But yeah, we'll let the stream go for a couple more minutes and see if that's enough time to get this to $64. We'll see. Egomaniac87. Obviously, some of those games wouldn't come to Switch 2 if it weren't for game key cards. They could always do something like what Bethesda did for Doom 2016, which came out fall of 2017 for Nintendo Switch, had most of the game on cartridge, but the multiplayer was something that you had to download for. And there's a way, like WWE 2K25, most of the game could be on that 64 gigabyte cartridge, and the other 12 gigs or so that didn't fit, this mode, this something or other, whatever, could have been a 12 gigabytes required for full game, internet connection, download, necessary. Boom. That's a way that they could have done it. That's a way that, Split Fiction could have been done. Here's a 64 gigabyte cartridge. Maybe you could even play most of the game like that, but the last boss, the last world, you couldn't. And you do have that on the box. Internet connection required. 10 gigabytes of space necessary for full game entire experience. Necessary. Like, there you go. That's how you could have done it. You're cool with the key card if it won't fit on 64 or use a 64. Let me download the rest of the game. Yeah. Then you wouldn't eat up as much of your hard drive space. Small little man, I kind of understand game key cards because the Switch 2 cartridges are pretty pricey. But what baffles me is how some games aren't on the disc on PS5. The discs are cheap to produce. Yeah, there are a good amount of titles that you buy the license to the game by the disc, but you do have to download the whole thing. Or you've got to upload it all and have the cartridge, have the disc in your system, even while it's taking up your hard drive space. That's been a thing since PS4 and Xbox One, Brian C. Smaller games should be full on cart or have both cart and let me download the rest. Yep. Oh, and game key card be cheaper version. Yes. Ryan, hey, is the Switch 2 GameCube controller worth it for someone who's never owned a GameCube? Yeah. As a gaming historian, someone who loves the preservation of things that are old school, who looks forward to new school things, I like each controller. I like the ergonomics and the grips of all of the different controllers. They all represented a different style, a different level of ingenuity throughout life, They fit the look of the system, the vibe, the age I was in. Is the Nintendo GameCube controller going to give you like a heads up an advantage of some sort in playing F-Zero GX or The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker more than playing it on your Pro Controller 2? No, it's not going to give you an advantage in like that regard, but for the fact that it's like a blast to the past, cool, a different piece of art on your entertainment system, on your entertainment center, a different color being purple than most things being like black these days in terms of controllers, or white or black and white or whatever. I think it's worth it. I think it's cool. And you can even play your Nintendo Switch 2 games with that GameCube controller. You may lose a little bit of functionality, but you'll get to use it. So I say it's worth it. Totally, in my opinion. Especially if you love the classics. Black Ops 6 is entirely internet download on PS5. Yeah, that's a massive one too, small little man. Egomaniac87. I also wish there was more criticism for third parties over game key cards to pressure them into putting games on cartridge. Would the publisher lose a little bit of money if they didn't charge more? Yeah. Could you be incentivized to still do it though? Possibly. Could you really just have a third SKU out there? Also, yeah. You really like the feel of your Switch 2 Pro Controller, Mario Master? Me too. I think it's a fantastic controller. Johan S. Is it confirmed next week for the Nintendo Direct? No, it's not confirmed, but it's looking quite likely. It's looking quite likely from several people saying September 12th or the 11th. So I am on team, yes, it's happening next week. I was about to say this on like Sunshine, for instance. The GameCube controller does give you an advantage in some games due to the analog triggers, which aren't on the Switch controllers. Yeah, like it would, playing Super Mario Sunshine. If we get like Super Mario Sunshine in the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack app, that would, yeah. It just seems like a classic controller that you could use in general, and I just couldn't see that happening with the N64 controller, for example. I always wanted Street Fighter to exist on Nintendo 64, but that's one of my favorite franchises that never came out on N64. So the me nowadays went back and I've been playing Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike on Nintendo Switch with the N64 controller, and it's just really cool using that 6-button face layout and switching between D-pad and analog stick. It's been kind of cool. Alrighty. Okay. With the stream extension, we'll go at it for a minute to possibly extend it a little bit more and possibly hit that Nintendo $64 mark. Otherwise, this will be the end of the stream. Hope you had a great time. We got 5 new members in here today. We got $30 dono towards the normal goal. We had a great topic. We know that Capcom has been talking positively on Nintendo Switch 2 and that they want to further expand Monster Hunter, and they haven't been able to do so as much with Wilds as they would like because of the situation of PlayStation 5 in Japan. It's not the main system, yet Capcom has their main bread and butter selling game, Monster Hunter, on PS5 in Japan. You're not getting any sales out of the Xbox version over there. But if it were on Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2, you'd have a situation like Monster Hunter Rise. Could they port Monster Hunter Wilds over to Nintendo Switch 2? Maybe, but I suspect Capcom could be working on like a Monster Hunter Rise 2, something else designed for Nintendo Switch 2 in mind that sells another 8-9 million units. And then once it's sold its 8 million copies or whatever for a year or so, then it gets ported to PS5, Xbox Series. Maybe something like that. Gearbox has another one. They're fans of Nintendo Switch 2 without breaking any kind of NDA. It's looking like after Borderlands 4, they will be continuing to support Nintendo Switch 2 in some capacity. And that's kind of exciting. I think the future is really good for third parties on NS2. Dank Meme Center X, welcome. Curious, how did optimization get worse despite having better tools than PS2, Xbox, GameCube generation? Sup, by the way. This streams more so with Monster Hunter Wild shaky launch, then turn me off from even full play. I think with gaming getting bigger, more complex in multiple different ways, online making it bigger, demands of gamers, cost, developers are having a hard time just ripping and porting with equal parity. There are also more consoles, more platforms than ever before. I mean, even though in some ways it's like, we have 3. We've had 3 back in the day. Well, you've got 3, but you've got PC and Steam. And then even within the ecosystem of the main 3, you've got a PlayStation 5 Pro version, an Xbox Series S version, and in some cases, a Nintendo Switch version and a Nintendo Switch 2 version. So a developer really has to think of a lot and do a lot. And if you're a smaller developer, how do you split your time and allocate for the raw development cycle and then the subsection of making it work on every platform? That's a lot. Dank Meme Center X, you personally prefer they do a new Monster Hunter for NS2? Yeah, that'd be sweet. Instead of trying to bring a buggy mess over that will run significantly worse than Xbox Series S. I think if they put the time and effort into it, it could run better. But otherwise, it's also not necessarily a new game anymore. Depending on when it would come out on Nintendo Switch 2, it could be better to make a new one from scratch. Like Rise, big success. J Biggs, Mr. NY for life. I just need my Resident Evil remakes. 2, 3, 4, plus 7 and Village. Yeah. Not cloud versions, which are on NS, but full-on NS2 releases. Tsukino Ame, Monster Hunter World could have worked for Switch 2. Yeah. Dang, World could work. Is World too old to be worth their time? I think it would still sell on Nintendo Switch 2. Monster Hunter World Plus. Right? Maybe. I miss Sega consoles. The Dreamcast was so cool. Dreamcast was cool. Yeah. I would have liked it if Sega could have hung in there. Could you imagine if things were handled a little bit better how different it would be, though. You wouldn't have Sonic in Super Smash Brothers. There would be no Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Streets of Rage, that would just be on Sega's consoles. But if Sega never dipped out of the console business, so then now 2001 through 2025, you have another 24 years of new Sega consoles coming out like once every 6 years. Sonic the Hedgehog games, Virtua Fighter games, Vector Man, Echo the Dolphin, Streets of Rage. Golden Axe. All of Sega's IP continuing to be new and expanding generation after generation. Meanwhile, having third-party games, but also Sega's own first-party IP continuing to expand. Could have been really cool just on their platforms. We need an RE5 remake. That would be cool. Yeah. Right now with games, there's just more that could go wrong, plus they are trying to do bigger and badder. Yeah. With that point, you should start with the lower scale model and then scale up if you have the memory bandwidth. Yeah. I mean, if Square Enix, last generation, built a Final Fantasy game for Rise in Final Fantasy, whether it was numbered or not, it could have been this awesome, original, story-based, hardcore-driven, traditional RPG, done gangbusters, and then added with some more bells and whistles and visual fidelity elements to Xbox One, PS4, and eventually a Nintendo Switch 2 version. There you go. Come on, Square. We know that 7 Remake Integrate's coming, 7 Rebirth, 7 Part 3 is going to be this big project that's got a lot of moving parts on multiple consoles at once, seemingly. But moving on, yeah. Developed for Nintendo Switch 2 in mind. It's going to be the best-selling system of the generation. Why wouldn't you want that version to be the front runner? You know, the one that you advertise, the one that you are going to sell first. Make it work. Obvious. I think RE5 is good the way it is. I say remake of 1. Code Veronica would be good. Nah, Iceborne made sense before Rise. Going back to that style would be off for folks that only need the mobility of a Wirebug and Palamute. Could they modify it, or would it break too much of the game if they went back and added that kind of thing? Splatoon 3 North American on September 19th for Exeki Jucky. You would play World if it was on Switch 2. Tsukino Ame. Looked like getting Call of Duty adaptation for a lot more Zelda talks, but now the stream is about to end. We did get a nice extension, but it's now about to end. Which I feel bad. We've got 22 people in here. Chat's lively. You're all talking back and forth, firing. I love it. Rayman is back. Rayman 4 possibly coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Are you ready for State of Play tomorrow? Deep dive in 007 First Light. Heck yeah! You see this right here? Check this out. This will answer your question on Bond. James Bond. Or should I say Gale. Paul Gale. Agent 007. I'm ready. Some of the best pause music ever in a game. You got this. You've got some old school. Such a vibe right here. You got some old school Battletoads. We're just gonna let this play one more time. It's so much fun. Is Resident Evil 9 possible? Asks Mark Lance. Yeah, it is. I don't think that RE9 can't come to Nintendo Switch 2. I think it will. You don't think you'll dabble in it for a third time? Okay, regarding Monster Hunter. Christopher Gonzalez, I love your energy, Paul. Thank you, Christopher Gonzalez. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Who else is getting Astrobot DualSense Limited Edition? I think it's cool, but I got my PlayStation 30th anniversary DualSense controller. That's all I need. Stay to play tomorrow? Yeah, specifically on Resident James Bond. Joycey. The video game news each day has been entertaining. Thank you. That's awesome. I love talking about it. Exucky Jucky, I can't wait for Death of Sword from Chinese game developer. It'll be an RPG and come out in 2027. Nice. Code Veronica needs some love. Haha. Yeah. That's a cool one. That's a cool one. Okay. Unless if, like, in the last minute, someone blasts the super chat, we're good. We will be back on, though. So, 3 p.m., which is in 4.5 hours, roughly, I'll be back on with the regular live stream. This was a bonus, but this bonus ended up being fantastic. This bonus was longer than the Nintendo 64 minutes. It got stretched out. We got a bunch of new members in here. That means a bunch of you are now going to get access to those shorts early. You're going to see 2 shorts tomorrow. Something special's happening. And yeah. Hope y'all have a good rest of the day. For some of you, this time works out well because obviously you're here now. You live in different territories around the world, and you might not be back for tonight. So this was your stream. Some of you I might see twice in one day for some more gaming news tonight at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Some of you I might see tomorrow. But this has been fun. It's been great talking. Take care, everybody. Stay cool out there. Awesome streaming. Thank you, thank you. This was great. Real talk. Does the stream have all of the bells and whistles in terms of the visual aspects of these things over here? No. But is the conversation real and fun? Heck yeah, it is. I'm having a great time. Hope you all too. All right. See you later. Thank you again to Roger Enyart, Corey Boehm, and Free Metroid Hat for your subscription, gifts, super chat donations. Here's got tongue-tied again. Here's to some 007 tomorrow. Shoot, depending on the time, maybe we even live stream 007 together. Ooh, maybe. Well, we'll definitely have something to talk about.